Summer is just about here, which means it's time to start barbecuing again. Whether you're going to the beach or having a small cookout in your yard, Charbroil has a grill to fit your needs. If you use our link, you can get a Charbroil one-burner portable grill for just over $100, and it's perfect for wherever you need to cook. It's convenient and portable, and works just as well in the backyard as it does on the go. Just go to multipleworldproductions.com/sponsors and use our link to shop all the great products Charbroil has to offer. Welcome to Exploring Hyperspace Lanes. I am Adam.
And I'm Josie.
And I am just getting over something, so Josie may have to take the lead if I start coughing uncontrollably and have to mute.
Oh,
So,
like an illness?
I mean, I have seasonal allergies, and what happens is if you don't properly handle them, you tend to get sinus infections,
Okay.
which is where we are today. I have a sinus infection. I've been taking prednisone and this nasal spray, and I've been on more steroids this year than ever before in my life. I feel like I could run a marathon.
Oh, fun.
Um, if I wasn't like 300 pounds. Anyway, how are you doing?
Oh, fine.
Um, Josie has already given me shit for my Zoom background.
No, I gave no shit.
Because I figured, the Flash is ending in 2 weeks. The show is
It's
finally coming to an end after 9 years. So we'll use Star
it's
Labs as my
about
Zoom
time.
background. It's a great show.
Sure.
I mean, the last two episodes have been some of the strongest that not okay, let me rephrase that. Not the most recent episode, the two before that were some of the strongest they've done in years. Um, because like they went back in time to the pilot, to the very beginning of the pilot,
Mm-hmm.
and they did that really cool. And then Oliver came back in one of them from Arrow, and that was really nice.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
and it made me want to go back and watch Arrow, knowing full well how shitty Arrow became.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so, um, speaking of off-brand, which is how you brought up that. Did you hear today's big announcements from Marvel
No,
Studios?
no.
Um, so
Enlighten me.
yes, so we know next month, we're about a month away now, I think a month to the day, away from the release of the first episode of Secret Invasion on Disney Plus, which is the espionage show about Nick Fury and all of them fighting the Skrulls, which is going to be, I have full confidence the show is going to be fucking astounding.
Oh,
Um,
really?
yeah, I think it's going to be really good. They gave it, it was supposed to come out in January. They delayed it 6 months. I think that indicates that they wanted to give it more time to develop and have it come out right. I think the show is going to be great.
Hmm.
Um, that is happening then. We got word today that when the other two shows are coming out this year.
Mm-hmm.
So there are two more Disney Plus Marvel shows this year. Loki is the first of them. That will be debuting on October 6th.
Okay.
So we are quite a bit out from that.
Well, that's
Uh,
exciting. I did like Loki.
that will be opening against Kraven the Hunter from
What's Craven
Sony,
the Hunter?
the Sony movie about the Spider-Man villain Kraven. Um,
I
there
don't
that
think I'm familiar.
yeah, he's got a really iconic run, Kraven's Last Hunt, where he tries to hunt down Spider-Man. He like hunts like exotic animals.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so he hunted down like all of these weird things, not like cryptids, but like he goes to Africa and goes on safari stuff like that. So he decides to hunt down the Spider-Man. So he gets
Okay.
enlisted by Norman Osborn to do that. But they're making a movie about him, and that's coming out October 6th as well.
Hmm.
Um, and then the other big thing is on November 29th, so the week after Thanksgiving, Echo is dropping all at once. They're not doing weekly with Echo, they're just dropping it on November 29th in its entirety.
Okay.
Um, Echo being the spinoff of Hawkeye about the girl who's deaf. Um,
Okay.
did you watch Hawkeye?
Yeah.
It's about her. Daredevil's in it. Kingpin is in it. Allegedly, Punisher's in it. So like, I saw that this got announced for a release date, and I got a minor erection in Walmart when I read that. Um, you're welcome. Um, so yeah, I'm very excited for that show. I'm not entirely pleased about them dumping it all at once. Um, I'm not sure, especially considering I think it's like 6 hour long episodes. Like, I'm gonna have to take a day off of work to watch all of that, and don't think I
Oh,
won't, because I did that
you,
when Daredevil came out initially.
did you?
Yeah, I took a day off of work and just watched Daredevil straight through for 12 hours.
Huh.
That show is great though.
Is that?
Hmm.
I don't think I can agree with you as hard.
You didn't like Daredevil?
It was fine.
I think the issue with all of the Netflix Marvel shows is that they were like Netflix at the time was giving out these blanket 12 episode what they call 12 episode orders. So everything was just going for 12 episodes regardless. Um and what ends up happening is all of them end up meandering in the middle because
Okay.
it's like they kind of like, okay, well, we have to pad this out to get there. So like Jessica Jones in season one, they capture
Yes, Jessica
Kilgrave.
Jones was boring.
Like they capture Kilgrave and then he has to escape and just make everyone look incompetent. And I'm like, this is just dumb. Like
No.
that was my
I know
problem
I
with it.
was not into it. I can't even remember what the plot was. So,
For Daredevil.
both Jessica um and then Daredevil and the other one with the what's that other one that came out
Well, they had it was
around that same time?
the first four were Daredevil, Jessica
The
Jones,
spin-off of the Jessica Jones, Luke
Luke
Cage.
Cage,
That one I know I
and
also
Iron
wasn't a fan
Fist. Iron
of.
Fist was awful.
I don't think I even watched Iron
Yeah, you
Fist.
didn't miss much. And then the Defenders wasn't great, which was their big Avengers crossover.
Okay.
Um, and then like as the shows went on, they got worse I think the only one that really maintained quality season to season was Daredevil, because season two
Okay.
was Daredevil versus the Punisher, and that was really cool. And then season three, they did Born Again, the comic, and that was really cool.
Hmm.
Um, and I was really on board with all of that. Um, Jessica Jones started to it felt like it was a very good self-contained. Like if you have to pick one season of the show that's good, I think Jessica Jones is probably the best because it's like it was very much designed to be one season, and then they gave it a second and a third, and you're like, all right, let's just tone it back a little bit. We don't need to do, three
Mm-hmm.
seasons of this. And then Iron Fist is just irredeemable. Season two is a little better than season one. Um, but season one is just god awful. Like the first three episodes, it's him trying to convince everyone that he's Danny Rand. So like 75% of the dialogue is him going up to people and being like, "Hi, I'm Danny Rand," and then being like, "No, you're not. Danny Rand is dead." And it's like, but we the audience know he's Danny Rand, so it's kind of pointless.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that wasn't great. And then Luke Cage season one is good, but season two is not. Um, but Daredevil was consistent all the way through. And did
Hmm.
you watch the Daredevil episode of She-Hulk?
Yes.
Like, if this is how they're going to be treating Daredevil in the MCU, give me all the Daredevil. And also, I loved Vincent D'Onofrio coming back as Kingpin in
Okay.
Hawkeye. Like when he shows up, and it's like how he does that weird speech thing where he like has the breathy pauses while he's talking.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can't articulate that in sign language. So the whole time he's talking, he's just mumbling under his breath while he's doing the sign language, so he can still get that weird, like breathy, like I can't do it, but like, he's got that weird way of talking. Um, but you can't do that in sign language. So he's mumbling under his breath the whole time. It's so funny.
Huh.
Um, but yeah, I'm very much looking forward to Echo. I'm just baffled that they're dumping it all on one day. Um, I think it has something to do with the fact that they're trying to, like, there's a lot of stuff kind of circling the runway right now for Marvel because I think Ironheart's also nearing completion. I think that um, what's the other one? Agatha, House of Harkness, which is or Coven of Chaos is the new name, the spinoff of WandaVision about Agatha, is
Okay.
also nearing completion, if not done with principal photography, so they're in post. Um, Ironheart being the spinoff of Wakanda Forever about Ironheart. Wonder Man is currently in production in LA, although production keeps getting delayed by the writer's strike, because they keep picketing outside and the Teamsters won't cross the picket line in solidarity. And the same goes for Daredevil Born Again, which is a similar situation up in um, up in Westchester in New York, where they're shooting that.
Okay.
So they have a lot of things for Disney Plus kind of circling the runway. So I think that that's what this is trying to alleviate that backlog. Now, all of that is to say, how does this relate to Star Wars? This is a Star Wars show.
I don't know. How does it relate to Star Wars?
Well, there is one more Star Wars show coming out this year in August.
Oh.
Ahsoka.
Oh.
We don't have a concrete release date yet, but we do know that Ahsoka. Oh, and by the way, they show this is all courtesy of the upfronts that are happening this week, where the all of the networks come out and show off what they have coming for TV, to
Okay.
advertisers, and that's where they're showing off all of this stuff. And they showed a trailer for Loki season 2, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it needs to be said why, but Jonathan Majors is not featured or said on the list of cast for Loki season 2,
Oh, okay.
because of his current domestic abuse issues that are going on. Um, so he's not listed in the cast. Like when they were talking about, oh, this person's in it, this person's in it, this person's in it. The bad
What
guy,
character did he play?
oh, Kang the Conqueror.
Oh.
He's the guy at the very end who's he who remains in the first season of Loki, and then in
Oh.
Quantumania, he's Kang the Conqueror in the new Ant-Man movie.
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
so they don't mention him at all. But we don't know. I mean, as of recording this, as of looking at the internet right before recording this, there had been no release date officially announced yet for Ahsoka. But I think Marvel Studios and Lucasfilm have learned their lesson about running over each other,
Okay.
because back in 2018 this happened with Infinity War and with Solo. Now that's not to say Solo was great, but it didn't help that it was competing with the third week of Infinity War.
Okay.
Like the box office, like the movie needed to make like $400 million to be profitable, or it needed to make 800 million to be profitable, because the production budget was like 400 million because they shot the movie twice with two different directors. So
Mm-hmm.
they they need to make a lot of money. Putting it up against the third week of Infinity War was not a winning strategy for that.
Oh.
Um, so that was one place where they kind of tramp, and there was a subset of the fan base like, oh, people were responding to not liking The Last Jedi, and I'm like, I don't think that was it. I think it's just it opened in a really shitty time, and also it's a Han Solo origin movie, and there was already people pushing back against it from the time it was
Mm-hmm.
announced until it came out, where it's like I don't really need this story. Um, and it never made the case to viewers why we should care about that story.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so all of that said, they learned there, and then last year Obi-Wan Kenobi came out and Miss Marvel came out shortly after. So the two of them were competing with each other because new episodes were coming out the same day.
Oh. So you
Um,
think it didn't get as much as it would have?
right. Well, what ended up happening was Miss Marvel ended up, because Miss Marvel came second, ended up falling off, because it was competing with Obi-Wan, which was already mid-season, and people were already
Okay.
invested in it. So people didn't pick up Miss Marvel immediately. It eventually evened back out to the same numbers you got for other Marvel shows like Falcon and the Winter Soldier and Loki and WandaVision, but it took a little bit to get back up to those numbers, and it wasn't in the immediate aftermath, which again lent itself to um, an issue with what's it called? It lent itself to people being like, "Oh, look, they went broke. They made a superhero movie about a Muslim superhero, and people aren't watching it because it wasn't happening in the first week." It's the same thing that's been happening with CW for years, where it's like, "Oh,
Mm-hmm.
Supergirl has really shitty same night ratings," and it's like, "Well, yeah, because it's a Sunday night show and it's up against Sunday Night Football." The CW
Hmm.
doesn't give a fuck about that though. They only look at the L+7, which is live showings plus a week, because that
Mm-hmm.
includes DVR recordings, which is what they care about. They don't care when you watch it as long as you watch it. Um,
Oh, okay.
Right. So if you record it and then eventually watch it, that still counts for them.
Hmm.
Um, so people just disregard that though because it doesn't fit their narrative. And it was the same thing here, where it's like, yeah, people eventually got around and watched Miss Marvel, but it wasn't at that same time, and it was losing out consistently to Obi-Wan. So
Hmm.
it seems they've learned their lesson. I mean, we see the Marvels got delayed to November, and we have Indiana Jones coming out at the end of June, and then originally it was supposed to come out the end of July. The Marvels, but they
Mm-hmm.
delayed it partially to make sure the effects were really done. I would say also partially to make sure that it has a nice wide berth to come out against other
Okay.
Disney properties. Because then the next Disney property that can cut into that is Wish, and that's an entirely different target audience from the Marvels. So I think that that's part of it. And on top of that, too, with this, they're staggering it out. That said, I think that we're looking at a August 16th release date for
Mm-hmm.
Ahsoka. Um, and I'll say that. Um, Let me double check that there's been no release date announced. No release date announced. It is now 7:24 on Tuesday, Eastern time. So if I'm right, we can earmark that.
Tuesday
Um,
the 16th.
Tuesday the 16th, right? So I'm thinking Ahsoka comes out the 16th of August because that it's 8 episodes long. 8 weeks from the 16th, we'll put it on Wednesday the 4th, and then Loki picks up Friday.
Hmm.
That's the reason why because I think they're putting out Loki on a Friday because they don't want to have it competing with Ahsoka, which will come out
Okay.
on Wednesday. So that's my theory. That's I don't I mean again all speculation, no no facts to back that up. That's just looking at the trend and being I think that's how it's going to fall out.
That's your
Um
prediction.
right, and we'll see if it pans out.
Okay.
Um but yeah, so that's the big news of this week. Do you have any other things you want to talk about that you saw in the news or happened to you or
Um, no, no, nothing big happened this week at all.
every time I ask that question, you have that same like half smile you do every time,
That's just
like
my face.
half apologetic, like half like, you know, why are you asking me this like you do every week?
Yeah. Um, so actually, no, I got some good news. If we're gonna do I can do a personal anecdote.
Yeah, sure.
Um, uh, I got some good news for the back of the house. The price that we were quoted for, which was like 10 grand.
That's a lot.
Um, yeah, yeah. So that was pretty intense. Actually, we found a fantastic contractor, and this contractor, because when we originally had it quoted, which was like a year ago now,
Hmm.
it is lumber is cheaper now than it was. So it's actually been cut in half because the
Oh,
work
that's not
wasn't
bad at
as
all.
hard as he thought it was going to be, and the work and the lumber was cheaper. So it was just really nice to not be taken advantage of,
So now
because
what level
nowadays
of
you just
work is
kind of
it?
expect. He rebuilt pretty much the whole backside of the house.
Oh, okay. All right.
So he really could have nobody we didn't definitely did not expect for like the price to go down. We
Right.
definitely thought that for the quote that we were given was like, okay, this is the beginning of it. It could absolutely get worse. Like, and then to find out that it was actually cut in half because he was just being a decent person and not fucking us the way he very well could have,
Right.
that it just felt really nice to be treated
Like a human.
humane. Yeah, humanely.
Like
Because I
not
feel
have
like oftentimes now we don't treat each other very well. So
no, we don't. Yeah, that's good though, because it's like rebuilding the entire back, that's a lot of
it was a
work to
lot.
do for 5 grand. Well, it's also you live north of the Arctic Circle, so prices are a little bit lower than down here.
What? They'd be more expensive up at the Arctic Circle.
No, it's everything's way cheaper up by you.
Is that?
Yeah. Well, how much do you pay for a gallon of milk?
I don't buy milk.
Okay. How much do you pay for a loaf of bread?
I don't buy bread.
What do you eat? Okay, so you go and buy a tray of
I so
chicken.
how about like a dozen and a half eggs?
Okay, how much do you pay for that?
A dozen and a half, it's probably like 530 right now.
Do you buy like the cheap brand or do you buy like
No,
Eggland's
I buy
Best?
like Eggland.
Okay. Because I was just saying I pay like $1.50 for a dozen, but I go to Lidl and get the The store
No,
brand eggs.
I get the good eggs because that's what I like.
Okay, so what about this? You eat chicken, I assume, right?
Sure.
So you go and buy a tray of chicken, like the tray of chicken parts. How
Mm-hmm.
much do you pay for that?
$1.99 a pound right now.
Okay, so it's less than I pay.
What do you pay per pound?
I don't know per pound, but I know when I buy it, it's like $10 for the tray.
Okay, so pretty much the same.
Oh, okay.
You
Well,
don't
still,
know
I
what
feel
per
like
pound. I think you like. I think groceries are not something. Though, how about what do you pay for gas?
350.
We are at 363 today is what I
Really?
spent on it. Yeah.
Huh, that's weird. I have a conspiracy theory about the gas prices, but I'll leave it to myself because I don't want to lose listeners.
No, let's hear it.
I think that in areas that are more likely to be able to be pushed more right leaning, the gas
Mm-hmm.
prices are higher.
You think so?
I think so because I think that like we're at a point now where if a company came out and was like endorsing a Republican candidate, they'd be boycotted. Like I think that like if Exxon came out today and was like we're supporting DeSantis in 2024, they'd be
Mm-hmm.
boycotted. Um,
Hmm.
but if Exxon just increases the price of gas in areas that could be swayed to go to the right to points where it was
Mm-hmm.
higher than it was under the last Republican president, that's an endorsement while not, full
Hmm.
on being like this is we're endorsing this candidate.
Okay. I don't know. I love a good conspiracy theory, though.
And that wasn't one of them.
What?
Like, I love a good conspiracy theory, but that wasn't one. So,
No, don't put words in my mouth.
and the thing that really made me think of that was last year. It was getting close to the election, and all of a sudden, Domino's started running ads complaining about gas prices,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, so gas prices have been up for like 2 years, but now that it's October, and we're voting in November in the midterms, now you're running this ad reminding everyone how much higher gas prices are now than they were before.
Guess I don't really notice that kind of thing.
I also watch a lot of live TV during the fall because I watch football.
Mm-hmm.
So like I see a lot of the commercials. Um,
Oh, no, I avoid commercials.
yeah. You ever sit and watch TV with someone who is using the rewind function on live TV and they just suck at it? So they end up spending more
Yeah,
time
all
rewinding
old
and fast
people.
forward. Yeah, my dad does that shit where it's like he'll fast forward and then he'll fast forward past it, then he'll rewind, then he'll get distracted by his phone, he'll rewind too far, then like, just sit through and watch the fucking
That's
commercial.
me. That's actually me, though, if I were to do the rewind function on the TV.
I do you pay for cable or no?
No, not right
Okay,
now.
good. Because I think cable's a
So
waste of
much
money.
judgment. And then when you find out that I don't, you're like, oh, good.
Yeah, I was just
Because I
like,
wanted to
is
harass you about it,
exact.
but
Yeah, I was
now I
like,
can't.
yeah, yeah. I was gonna be like, why the fuck are you paying for cable? Like, just get Hulu
And
plus
then
live TV. It's
I
cheaper.
ruined it because I don't. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
like if you really want that, get
Mm.
Hulu plus live TV. Um, but yeah, so I feel like there's something else. Oh, Tears of the Kingdom. I'm really enjoying Tears of the Kingdom. You just bought it today and you're downloading it as we speak.
Yes, it's currently downloading and
Is this your
it's
first
taking a
$70 video
while.
game purchase?
No, like in my life.
First video game that was $70 that you bought.
Uh, for like the base game,
Yeah.
yes.
Oh yeah, excluding like Game of the Year edition or the game that comes with the season
Right,
pass. Yeah.
right. Yes.
Because like this is my second, and I have to say, not thrilled about it.
Yeah,
I'm not thrilled about this new $70 price point, especially for me for a Nintendo game, because it's like the game is good. Don't get me wrong.
but it's not that good.
There,
Like,
there's
chill,
nothing there's
bruh.
nothing there's nothing about the game that's like this is worth $10 more than Breath of the
No.
Wild.
No, like what am I getting? Am I getting anything special? Like, am I getting some extra skins that nobody else is getting?
Oh no, the
Where's
game
the
is
cheap
great.
version that
And
I
this
can
isn't me
get?
shitting on the game. I'm not saying the game is bad,
I know,
but
but that's still
this
a
is something
lot.
that should have been 60.
Yeah,
Like if you pay 70 for an Xbox game, you're getting like high performance mode and you're getting like, you know, ultra high definition. A Switch is doing like barely like 2K. It's not even doing 4K. And it's like, okay, well, what's that extra $10 going to, is my question.
right.
Um, so yeah, that was my did I tell you the pizza parlor story from the other day?
No,
Okay. So hold on, let me just um vamp for a minute while I cough. Can you just talk for a minute while I cough?
we could pause because I gotta turn on some lights.
What?
I was saying we could pause because I'm gonna turn on some lights.
Oh, well, run over and turn the lights on. I will try and find something to talk about while I do that.
Okay, you've
While you
always
do
got
that.
stuff to talk about.
Yeah. And then I'll just come back and when you come back, do you agree? And it's like, yes, more likely no. Um, and she muted herself because she's walking away to turn the light on. I don't know why she doesn't just turn the light on before she starts, because this happens every week. Because we record at like 7 o'clock at night and the sun does set. Um, and she's always baffled by this. Um, you would think she would learn to turn the light on before we get started, but she never does. So here we are, and she is turning the light on. And based on the amount of time it takes for her to do that, the light switch is in another time zone, apparently. Oh, here she is. She's back. Um, yep, and she's getting back, and she's back. There we go.
So I know you've been on a bit of like a health kick and journey as well.
Yes.
So I wanted to mention that something that has been added to my health journey is dates.
Going
They
on a
are a
lot of dates.
superfood.
Oh,
What?
dates.
Dates, yeah.
Like have them pay for your
They
meal.
no, 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 like the food, like the
No, I
food
understand.
dates. Um,
It's a
they're
joke.
super good for you. Okay, so they're super good for you. Did you know that they're a superfood?
I did not know.
They are, and they're very good with the when you put like peanut butter inside of them and put a little bit of um like the tiniest amount of powdered sugar on them and just for a little bit of sweetness and you can use like some super um like no sugar added peanut butter and stuff so that way it's even better for you. And yeah, it's all around good for you.
I've started with the Zone protein bars. Those I found that I really like. Those I'll have one a day in the morning, and that'll kick me into high gear during the day. Um,
Mm.
that sounds like an endorsement. They're not paying me to say that, but that's just what I get. It's like $10 for a box of 10. So, I don't think they're real protein bars because you buy them in the breakfast bar aisle, um, not in the
Mm-hmm.
protein bar aisle. And I did join a gym. I haven't gone yet because I haven't been feeling good, but I joined a gym.
Good for you.
I did the $1 down, $10 a month at Planet Fitness.
Oh, I
Um,
hated Planet Fitness.
like, why do they need to pay directly out of your bank account? Why can't it just be a debit card? Number one. Number two, I found out yesterday from one of my coworkers that you can't buy a water bottle there, which they're horrifically overpriced anyway. They're like 250 a bottle. For like a bottle, like a 16.9 ounce bottle of water. You can't buy that unless you're a member of the Black Card team, like the Black Card one.
I don't think
Um,
that's true.
yeah, I think he was making that up. But I was like, that seems counterintuitive to like commerce. Because like, if someone wants to buy a water bottle at a gym, you kind of have them by the short hairs. So
Yeah, no,
like,
you can. I don't think that's true.
yeah.
I
So
think your coworker is playing you for a fool.
no, I don't think he
You
was.
should punch that
I
coworker
don't
right
think
in
he was
its
playing me for
face.
a fool because it's not like I said like, oh, I joined
Nah,
Planet
he's
Fitness, and he's
playing
like,
you
oh,
for
you
a
can't
fool,
do it.
and you should absolutely punch him and show him who's boss.
But that's a bad idea for longevity at the job. Um,
No, you've got to assert your dominance. Tell this guy what's what, and that he can't play you
yeah,
like
kick
that.
his ass, fuck his girlfriend, move on from there.
Yeah,
Um, but anyway, we have what's it called? The pizza parlor story. So, like last week, we are gonna have pizza. So my mom's like, "Do you want to come with me and help me carry it?" Because I was like, "Yeah, sure." So we went to this place, and it's one of these places that only takes cash. I'm assuming you have those by you too. It's like a pizza place that only takes cash.
Yes.
Only takes cash,
That's
no
pretty old
cards.
school. So yeah, we've got
Um,
that.
so now they've started taking digital payment methods, but it's still mostly cash. And we go there, and I walk in, and the guy's, behind the counter, and this guy looks like he's got alopecia. He has no hair on his head. Like he's bald
Okay.
completely, no facial hair, no eyebrows, nothing.
So
That's not the
why are you
funny
making
part of
fun of the alopecia people?
that's not the funny part of the story. That's just
Okay.
describing.
Well, I wasn't expecting it to be
I'm painting a
funny.
word picture.
Oh, okay. Is that what's
Um,
happening?
yes. So
Okay. Sorry.
I get up and he's there. He's talking to one of his coworkers, and he's like, "Can you believe it? These young people here are calling me a racist. Can you believe they're calling me racist? They have the audacity to call me racist." And I get up to the counter, and the guy's like, "Well, what did you do that they called you racist?" And he goes, "They called me racist because I was doing an Asian accent."
Well,
And I'm like, I think
that'll
that
do it.
that's a fitting place to call someone racist, I would think. I feel like that's a an accurate use of the term. And he's like, they don't
Yeah.
know what racist is. They're too coddled. And I'm like, no, it seems like I have a pretty firm grip on what racist is.
Yeah.
Um, so we order the pizza, we leave, and we go to get cash, and then we come back, and this guy thinks he's a fucking comedian, and he's up there, and it's like apparently their computers were all down, so they had to use cash. And they do take cards, and they do take like Apple Pay and stuff, but all the computers were down. And this
Mm-hmm.
guy was giving so much shit to the guy in front of me because the guy in front of me didn't have cash on him.
Mm-hmm.
So I present to you, do you carry cash on you on a regular basis?
Yes.
Am I the weird one for never carrying cash on me?
No.
Okay.
Because there's certainly been periods in my life where I haven't. I just currently do.
Because like I don't go out of my way to get cash. Like if I'm going somewhere that I know takes cash only, like if I'm going to my local game store, I will go and get cash before I go there. But 9 times out of 10, I could use my card.
Yeah. That's
Like,
reasonable
so this guy's giving him so much shit, and
for
then
not
he's like,
having cash.
yeah. So
It
then he's
sounds
like,
like this guy needs to fuck off.
so then he goes, well, why don't you write down? Why don't I just write down your credit card number on this receipt on the ticket? And the guy's like, well, how do I know that it won't get stolen then? And he goes, like, well, we're not going to give it out. And he goes, right, but you're putting my credit card information on a piece of paper that presumably is just going to go in the garbage in the dumpster behind the building. So anyone who comes in here to buy something and sees you doing that knows that if they come back after close, they can go in the dumpster and pull out a
Mm-hmm.
bag with a treasure trove of credit card information to do that. And I'm like, I'm hearing this, I'm like, that's a valid point.
Yeah.
Like that is a very like when
That's
I was working
somebody
at
who's using their brain.
yeah, when I was working at Walgreens, if the power went out, we had to just tell people to leave. We could have done that, but we didn't. And the thing is, too, Walgreens is a pharmacy. There is protected patient information that goes to get shredded or incinerated or destroyed in some way. It doesn't just go in the general trash. So we could have done that. We just
Mm-hmm.
didn't because we didn't want something to go wrong and then it looked like we stole their card. Because all you need
Right.
is one of those people to have that and then have a weird charge come up. And then all of a sudden they're like, you got someone here stole my card.
Yeah. It's too much liability.
Exactly. So the guy's like, well, just put your information. And he's like, well, how do I do that? He's like, well, just use that phone you care so much about. That app's so great. Just monitor it. That I'm like, shut the
That's
fuck
what he
up.
was saying.
Yeah.
Just like that. Ew. And
Yeah.
you didn't just walk out and be like, dude, you suck.
Well, at this point, I already waited 40 minutes for the pizza and got the cash to pay for the pizza. And by the way, we got 2 pies, one a plain large pie, one a large pie half mushroom.
Were they even good?
The crust was bland.
Ew. So don't go there again and put
No,
a
not
red
going to.
review saying that the guy's a racist.
Yeah, it's not just that he's a racist, because like I could deal with like that first thing, because it's like if not that
You
he's a
can deal with
racist,
racism. Racism's
it's not.
fine.
It's look if you're gonna cut off every pizza place in New York run by a racist guy, there's gonna be nowhere for you to go. but like especially fucking on Long Island. Like this is a cesspool of racism out here, and that's not me
Is
being
it?
mean. Yeah, oh yeah. It's like I'm assuming you've seen people with like the giant flags off the back of their car.
Yeah.
Yeah, we like
We have that out here because people are like backwooded.
well yeah, and also also didn't you go that town hall was up in your state and your governor was like that's a little fucked up.
Yeah, I don't even know oh, it was in Concord.
Yeah.
Concord's the capital.
Yeah, so they had that town hall up there, and that was like, but we have these people with these cars that have like millions of flags off the back of them, and I'm like, it's a safety hazard, first of all,
Mm-hmm.
like to have those flags off the back, because like, you know, those flagpoles aren't weighted for like going 70 miles per hour on the expressway. They're like the
Mm-hmm.
wind. And it's like all you need is that to come off and hit someone behind you and blind their windshield,
Right.
and then you got traffic fatality. But the issue is like we have so many people like that out here. Like this area has gotten worse and worse recently with the with people leaning to the far right and embracing these conspiracy theories. Like I've been seeing InfoWars stickers all my life.
Hmm.
Like Alex Jones, that lunatic. I've been seeing those
Yeah.
stickers all over the place since I was
We're
about
making the
7 years
frogs
old.
gay.
Yeah,
That guy.
yeah.
Hmm. That's surprising. But anyways, so what are we talking about today?
Right, good transition. Um Today we're talking about Tales of the Jedi.
It would have been if you'd not called me out on it. Damn.
Um So, do you want to go first so I can hack up a lung real quick?
Um, so Tales of a Jedi, that is the one from Netflix, right?
Disney Plus.
Oh yeah, Disney Plus. That's the one. Oh, that's the one that starts off with the Ahsoka,
Yeah,
with
Baby
Ahsoka
Ahsoka, and
and
then Dooku for 3 episodes, and then two more Ahsoka episodes. Or no, two
I
Ahsoka
actually
episodes, I think.
I actually really enjoyed this season. I really liked like all the holes that it filled. I think it was really cool how it followed Dooku because I think that story is great. And then it followed some more of Ahsoka's story and just filled in some gaps in between. I really enjoyed this and I think it's rewatchable, which is big for me because I don't think very much is rewatchable.
Yeah, I think
What
that
about
like
you?
I think that the Ahsoka episodes were the weaker of them. I
I
think
agree.
because I think that, like the first episode doesn't give us too much information, more than we
No.
already kind of just presume. And
It was a
also
little odd that she was supposed to be like some tuned with nature, even though that's not something she is
ever
shown for having
does.
an affinity before,
Right.
you know? So I
Like if
thought
they
that
did
was a
that
little
for
odd.
Ezra, that'd be a better origin for Ezra,
Right,
I think, than it would be for
right.
Ahsoka.
And it was kind of like, oh, she's good with animals. She's a Jedi. Like it was just odd. It was a weird leap.
And the other issue with that is it's like we just saw this with Grogu. If we didn't just see this with Grogu, I think it would have been a little bit
Right,
more impactful because we had just seen it with Grogu in The Mandalorian.
right. Mm-hmm.
Um, the second episode was the first of the Dooku episodes, and I really enjoyed the Dooku episodes. Because it's all about seeing
Me
him
too.
become desensitized and become jaded with the Jedi. I really like the way they did that. Over the second and third episode, which is him and Qui-Gon, and then him and Mace Windu in the second.
I actually think it pairs really nicely with the book that they came out with about
Yes,
Dooku.
I agree. The third episode is also really good, and I think it is one of my two favorite episodes of the season. Um,
Well,
because
it's the
it's
second episode, remind me.
the not the second episode, the third episode. The second episode was the
Oh,
one with Mace Windu, which it's kind of the same as the second episode.
okay.
Um, the last one is the one that takes place concurrently with episode one,
Okay.
with Dooku going in, deleting Camino from the records, um,
Oh, okay.
and then facing off with Yaddle, after she confronts him and
Mm-hmm.
killing Yaddle. Um, that pairs nicely to use your description with the second of the E.K. Johnston Padme books that came out recently.
Mm-hmm.
Because like we've said before with all of these shows and books, they all work their best when they are taking things we already know and adding context to them.
Yeah. I don't think I've read that book that you're talking about, the Padme book.
The first Padme book is about her time in the Senate between 2 and 3. The first one is about her becoming queen
Hmm.
and then dealing with the events of Phantom Menace from her perspective.
I don't think I've read them.
It's really good. And
Hmm.
it really makes Phantom Menace better.
Okay.
Um, and in the same way, this does that same thing, where it's the whole thing where it's like, where did the clones come from? How does that all work? How, like,
Mm-hmm.
who deleted from the, like, seeing all of that laid out, and then seeing the death of Yaddle, is really kind of important. Um, that's my second favorite episode, though. My favorite episode is the one with Ahsoka and the clones.
Mm-hmm.
With Anakin training her, he's like, look, you're gonna have to fight against droids, and the droids will, they're droids, so they're not that hard to kill.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is we want to train you against something better, because if you can handle yourself against the clones, you'll be able to handle yourself against anything that the Confederacy can throw at you. So it's just her over and over again dealing with the circle of clones all trying to stun her, and her deflecting it and going just like 5 minutes, 6 minutes,
Right.
like over and over, getting longer and longer time of her staying up doing it. And then it ending in the final episode of the Clone Wars with her and Rex on the command ship about to enter the hangar, and he's like, "Oh, I really hope you can stand your
Mm-hmm.
ground
That's
here."
such a powerful scene.
It's such a
I
great
like
moment.
it.
I love that whole thing, because it's again, it's adding context to something that's adding context, and that whole, when we get to the Clone Wars, I'm going to talk a lot about that finale, because that finale is just so well done.
You've talked about it before that you like it,
Yeah,
just showing how much
I
you
think
like it.
I think that the last 4 episodes of the Clone Wars are probably my favorite thing that Disney has done with Star Wars.
Hmm.
Like it opening, and like that entire 4 episode arc takes place concurrently with Revenge of the Sith, and they use the musical cues from Revenge of the Sith to tell you where in the story you are.
Mm-hmm.
So
So
like,
I would say that this is probably one of the better, if not the best, of any seasons of any of uh the
animated shows.
cartoons, except for maybe the Clone War, some of the Clone Wars.
I think that as a self-contained season, it's the strongest season.
It definitely is
Um,
of that.
because I think it's better than, I think that again, but that comes from, it doesn't overstay its welcome like the Bad Batch does.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like if the Bad Batch season 2 cuts about half the episodes,
Mm-hmm.
I think it could have rivaled it. But because it's 16 episodes, most of which is nonsense, you end up
Yeah,
in this weird place where it's like, why is this going on so long?
right. And you just wish for it to be over.
Exactly. It's like, I don't need to see this roller drome rip off and like,
Mm-hmm.
um
But it, like, to me, the only thing that rivals it is some of the Wars series. So
yeah,
I
I would
don't know if
like the
that there's any
Mortis arc.
season that is specifically better, but I do think that overall the Clone Wars as a whole is better, just because of the extra content.
I think that for me, the only thing that drags, and it's not fair to really complain about the Clone Wars having this, but it's the same thing I have with Rebel season 1, where there's too much of it is just, this is an episodic TV show on network TV, because Clone Wars is
Mm-hmm.
on Cartoon Network, Rebels is on Disney XD. So it's meant to be aired out of order in reruns in perpetuity.
Mm-hmm.
So you get a lot of episodes that are just kind of nonsense and not really doing too much. That's really my issue with the Clone Wars. I think that like, the Mortis arc on Clone Wars is fantastic. That's the one where they go to that planet in the unknown regions, where you
Mm-hmm.
have the son, the father, and the daughter.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna say I can't say that the whole series, like every episode is on a whole, like, or on average better than
Yes, I would
Tales of
agree
a
with that.
Jedi, but there is uh, there's
I would
much
say
more story, and that it does, with the quantity of episodes that there are, it's a more in depth of a story. I don't know, but they're onto something pretty good with the way they're telling the story and Tales of a Jedi.
and
But I
I
don't
would
know
say
if they
too that like
necessarily need to continue with those two stories into the
no, I don't think
next
they're going to.
season
I think they're going to go into other stuff.
and just fill in pieces here and there for interesting characters.
But like I would say too that like there are definitely two episodes of Tales of the Jedi that I think are not as good as I would say the top half of Clone Wars episodes.
Okay.
Because like that first episode of Ahsoka, I don't really like, and the last episode of
I
Ahsoka is
agree. It's not very good.
like that last episode, like, and to lead off with that too, it's kind of like, well, why are you leading off with this? Because it really made me almost be like, this is not going to be good, and turn it off.
Yeah.
And that last episode of Ahsoka, I didn't care for either, only because I think the Ahsoka book is so much better, and it's
It's not my
basically the
favorite,
same
but I
thing.
still like it.
Like I think the Ahsoka book is better.
I agree,
Um,
but she also talks about in the book how she's been to other towns and stuff, and it's kind of cool to show, like, oh, okay, so this is why she's so absolutely jaded. It's
yeah, I think.
because it's happened to her before.
Well, I think that like the issue then with this is if this is not the last time this has happened in the way that Ahsoka comes after it, I think the issue then becomes like, well, why is this not the turning point for her to go and rejoin the rebellion? Like, why is this happening? She's like, okay, I'm gonna go hide again.
Mm-hmm. Well, because she's trying to stay safe and listen to
And doesn't she contact Bail at the end?
which I cannot remember.
I can't remember how it ends either. I seem to recall she contacts Bail at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Because that was the contention with the canon, where it's like if Ahsoka is if the book Ahsoka is meant to be the canon, quote unquote, last time she does this, and then ends up rejoining the Rebel Alliance in time for Rebel season 2,
No,
then this
she does
overrides that.
contact him in this.
And yeah, so this should be the last time then.
Mm-hmm. But the Dooku episodes are much better. I
Yes,
could see it going into season 2 and filling in some more Dooku, but not having it be as focused.
I think if you're gonna do Tales of the Jedi, I think that if they're doing 6 episodes again, and they're doing 6 episodes about 2 different Jedi, where it's like Dooku is very much about Dooku's fall. It's the beginning of it's like the beginning, middle, and end of his fall, where it's like the
Mm-hmm.
beginning of him starting to become desensitized, him when he is fully desensitized and going against the wills of the Order, and then the Order promoting um Qui-Gon over him to the Jedi Council, not Qui-Gon, Mace Windu to the Jedi Council over him, and then him turning on the Jedi and joining fully with the dark side.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then you also have Ahsoka doing her, her origin, and then, her being able to survive against clones, and then her rejoining in time for Rebels. I think if you're going to do that again, I think I would be interested to see Mace Windu.
Okay.
I would be interested to see Qui-Gon.
I think Qui-Gon's a great choice.
Because Qui-Gon's thing is he doesn't trust the Order either. Or he doesn't trust the Council either. I would like to see that explored a little bit because I don't think that's really explored that much even in Master and Apprentice, which is Claudia Gray's book, which probably goes the deepest into that relationship between Qui-Gon and the Council.
Yeah. Who's Qui-Gon's pal?
What do you mean?
Dooku erases the planet in his name.
Oh, he was Dooku's friend, Sifo Dyas.
Sifo Dyas.
Yeah,
I think Sifo Dyas would be cool to follow.
that'd be cool to have him introduced in visual media would be cool too, because he was
Yeah.
also clairvoyant.
Yeah.
Um,
Yes, and that would be super interesting to
like
watch.
they touch on it in Dooku Jedi Lost, but do the story of Dooku finding out about the prophecy, and not
Yeah,
Dooku,
no, of course
Qui-Gon
I would
finding
love
out.
to see something from like the old Jedis of like Revan or something like that, but we're not going to see that. They're going to stay in this kind of time
I
period.
think there's a distinct possibility that they do 3 about a Jedi we know, and I think there's a distinct possibility they do 3 High Republic Jedi, 3 about a
You
High
think
Republic
so?
Jedi, because
Hmm.
the Acolyte's coming out next year, and they got to sell the Acolyte.
Okay.
Um,
When are we expected for season 2?
I
Is
don't
there?
know. There is a season 2. They announced at a Star Wars celebration. I would assume probably September again, because that's when season 1 came out last
Oh,
year.
okay. Well, I'll
Um,
be looking forward to it.
yeah, more so than Visions at least.
Yeah,
Definitely.
much more.
But I think too that like that would be interesting too, because I think that while the High Republic has had a good presence in books and in comics and stuff like that, the people who go out and read that, like me and you, we are a
Hmm.
niche group. Um,
Yes.
and if you're gonna do the
It would be
acolyte,
cool to see it a little bit more mainstream.
right? Like the what's it the Rainbow Bridge they have, or is that what it's called, the Rainbow Arc they have with the Kyber crystals of all the fallen Jedi.
Um,
Like that'd be really cool. Maybe introduce the Dregneer to the audiences. Maybe introduce um or imagine this. One of the episodes is Anakin and Thrawn from Thrawn Alliances. Would you enjoy that or would you not like that?
Not super into it, but I could be into watching like some Outbound Flight stuff. Like, because there's that
See,
one
that'd be cool
Jedi.
too.
Yes, the Outbound Flight would make a great mini series.
General Sabaoth.
Yes.
Or they pronounce it Sabaoth in the book for Heir of the
Sabaoth
Empire.
and Sabaoth are both
Sabaoth.
uh,
Yeah, they pronounce it in
appropriate.
Outbound Flight.
They've been it's pronounced both ways in different books, so
Right. Um, so I think that would be a cool, because that'd be a really cool thing too, because I think that what they could use Tales of the Jedi for is introduce broader concepts to general audiences who are going to see it because it's on Disney Plus in front of them
mm-hmm.
in 20-minute bites or 10
Okay.
to 20-minute bites.
Hmm.
So like doing stuff like that to introduce the more intricate aspects of the Chiss ascendancy would be cool.
You know, another Jedi that it would be really cool to follow would be Plo Koon. He's got some really interesting and cool stories in some of the comics.
See, that'd be cool. Or Kai ID Mundi.
I don't know, Kai Wendy.
He's the guy with the giant head that also can fuck whenever he wants and has tons of kids because his species in danger
Oh
is in danger.
yeah.
Because
Yes.
in
That
the
would
original
maybe not
canon,
that, but you know who else would be really cool to the guy that ends up he's a Jedi and then he goes and he becomes lovers with oh no, what's her name? It was the book that had come out. The really tall chick that is friends with Dooku.
oh,
Dooku's
Asajj Ventress.
yes, Asajj Ventress, the Jedi that goes and works with Asajj Ventress to kill Dooku. It'd be really cool to follow him.
I think that I would be following this an Asajj Ventress kind of episode arc, but it's Tales of the Jedi, so you
She
probably
was a
wouldn't get that.
Jedi at some point, so
Um,
that would be cool.
there was one other. Quinlan Voss is another one that I'd like to see
Isn't
because
Quinlan Voss the one that is friends or that goes and tries it with Asajj Ventress?
was he?
So let's
Because
Google that.
I would like to see um I would like to see his adventures after Order 66 because they announced like hold on, can you I mean you they announced in Obi-Wan that he survived Order 66 because when he goes to the hidden path and sees the what's it called and sees what's going on there, he sees a marking that indicates that Quinlan Voss was there.
Yeah, Quinlan Voss is the one that I'm talking about. Same
Oh, okay.
person. Yes, that he goes and does things with Asajj Ventress. Yes, he would be a really cool character to follow.
Like I would want to see what he did with the hidden
Um,
path. That's what I would want to see if you're
I
gonna
would
do
love to
him.
see stuff just straight out of Dark Disciple. Some fill-ins there
Yeah,
would
that'd be
be
cool
cool.
too. But there is so much ground they can cover with this. Um, uh, I think that there's a strong possibility of, but I hope doesn't happen. I think there's a possibility we get Cal Kestis in this.
Who's that?
He's the guy from Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor. Um,
Um,
because
Custis.
Kestis. Because someone asked, like, could he
Oh, okay.
appear? Um, and they said, well, we'll never say never. And I think that if they're gonna bring in someone, I think he's someone they bring in because that'll bring an audience with it. Anyone who's played Jedi Survivor,
That's true.
will go and watch that then. So, and the thing is too is like I don't need if you do 6 episodes, I don't need 3 episodes devoted to each character. If you can do a 10 to 15 minute short that'll tell an interesting story with one of these characters, then fucking do it. Like I don't need it to be
Yeah.
a 3 episode thing about each one. Um, just give me something interesting.
Well,
Or like,
there's got to be a beginning, a middle, and then an end.
or like you know what else I would like if we're gonna do something different? I'd like to see a concrete ending to Mace Windu. I don't like the way he died. I don't think that that's something that would have killed that character. Like,
But it does.
but there's no
And
reason
that's
why it
canon.
has to. Yeah, but there's so much stuff that's canon that they decanonized and retconned. Like, there's no reason why he needs to die that way. He dies like a bitch, let's be honest. Like, we see people survive worse in that movie. Like, there's no
I
reason that
guess
should have killed him.
so.
I think that him dying trying to kill the Emperor would be like making an attempt on the Emperor's life would be better for the character.
All right.
Like that'd be an episode I
I'm
would
not
watch.
as into the character, I think, as you are. I think his death is fine.
I think he's got a lot of
I think
really
he's kind of
cool
a pain in the
potential.
ass.
I think he's got a lot of cool potential, and I want to see. I want Samuel L. Jackson to come back and voice him because I want him to do his weird cadence that he does when he talks to him because he's not doing a British accent because I don't think Samuel L. Jackson can do a British accent. So he's just talking in a weird cadence instead to kind of try and imitate the British accent,
Yeah,
but
it's like
not
a
really.
calm thing.
Yeah, I would like, but I want to see him like survive that. Like he gets blown out the window. He survived. Like he gets his arm cut off and blown out a window and he gets force electrocuted. We see people survive force electrocution fairly regularly through these movies. And we see people get blown out of windows fairly regularly. We see people lose limbs like they lose their cell phone. And I don't think that there's anything there that would have killed him. I don't think even the combination should have killed him. I think that there's plenty of room to just be like, oh, when he got blown out the window and he landed in a passing speeder and, lived.
He caught himself, and then somebody came and saved him off the side of the building.
Right. Or like
okay.
Keller and Beck saved him because Keller and Beck is out there on Coruscant at the same time and alive because he's the one who gets Grogu out of the Jedi Temple. Like there's another character they can do, bringing Keller and Beck and see what was he doing in the Jedi Temple as the teacher.
That's convincing. I think I could see where they could make that work and say that he's not dead
and just be like
he was okay.
Yeah, he survived that and he sees everything that's happening. He's like,
but he can't survive for much longer past
no.
that.
Like,
he has to die pretty soon after.
Right. Do like he survives that. He's on Coruscant. He gets saved, and then Keller and Beck kind of saves him, and they set him up with the robot hand, and it's like, look, I'm gonna go and make one last attempt on the Emperor. So then he goes and fights the Emperor and gets killed that way. I think that's a much stronger way for him to go out.
Okay.
Than for him to get to die like a bitch the way he did.
I guess so. I mean, he was not a favorite character of mine. I know he is a favorite character of a lot of people, but yes. So I feel less strongly, but I do think that it could be cool.
Like, I mean, look, to be honest, like I think all those Jedi die really dumbly in that scene. Like all 3 of them who die before him was Plo Koon and the other 2 both go out like bitches. Like I would like to see that you can't retcon
a more epic fight.
Right. We saw them on camera die, so you can't retcon that. But if their death is being blown out a window, then there's definitely room to be like, well, he rescued himself, then did something else after, and then died.
Yeah.
But yeah, so where would you rank this? Because I can't rank this because I would put this below Andor, and it feels wrong having it that low.
I would like to have it at least above all of the other cartoon series that we've done.
Want me to go through the list and we can see where we are?
How low? Sure.
Okay, so we have 13 things on the list. Number 13, we have Thrawn Alliances. Number 12, we have The Phantom Menace. Number 11, we have The Mandalorian Season 1. Number 10, somehow we have Andor Season 1. Number 9, we have The Bad Batch Season 2. Number 8, we have The Bad Batch Season 1. Number 7, we have Thrawn. Number 6, we have Jedi Fallen Order. Number 5, we have Dooku Jedi Lost. Number 4, we have Kenobi Under My Protest. Number 3, we have Return of the Jedi. Number 2, we have A New Hope. And number 1, we have Empire Strikes Back.
How about right above Dooku Jedi Lost or right after one or the other?
I would
Around there.
say, yes, I would say above Jedi Lost, I think is a good place to put it.
Okay.
So we'll put there Tales of the Jedi Season 1, making it our new number 5 in terms of television shows. It is our new number 1, and I have a feeling it'll stay there. Tales of the Jedi. And for canon, it is our new number 4, just below the movies.
So I do actually have a question this time. And it's
Sure.
funny that you mentioned the Force lightning and how he died to it, because that is my question is, what color do you think that your Force lightning would be?
Now, enlighten me as to what impacts the color of the Force lightning. Is there a thing, or is it just I can just be like, I want it to be this color?
It is not an I want it to be this color.
Okay.
So, it's hard. I'm not really sure exactly what the difference is other than like let me give some examples of who has what. So like the blue Force lightning is pretty much the most common.
Right.
So that would be I think it's more of like the critical thinkers kind of
Okay.
people. So like
You're socially liberal, fiscally conservative
yeah. So like
of the Sith
Dooku,
Lords.
yeah, like Dooku, Bane, Sidious,
Right.
Plagueis, and also Luke.
Right.
And when he in not canon material has summoned Force lightning.
Okay.
Let's see. So that's the kind of character. And then we have, so that's like the blue purple. And then we have green, which is
Green. That'd be my color if that's an option.
well, you don't even know who uses it.
Green is for the homosexual Jedi.
No, it's usually for like those in tune with the nature folks. So like the Night Sisters.
Oh yeah, I could do that.
Pretty much just the Night Sisters. There's another character called the Mother, and she does it. And then the last, no, there's 2. Then there's Black Lightning, which is like there's only 1 or 2 people who
The
have done
edgiest of the
that.
edgy lightning.
Yeah, and
As
then
if shooting lightning
there's
from your fingers isn't edgy enough.
yeah, and then there's Red, which
Yeah.
is the most common one that people know of is who's the red guy with the horns on his head? Help me.
Darth Maul.
Darth Maul. Yes, Darth Maul. He does red lightning.
I would say green only because green's my favorite color. That would be my choice if I got to
Oh,
choose.
and there's yellow. Maybe it's not black. Maybe it was yellow.
Yellow is for the Jedi who like golden showers.
No, yellow is actually from a video game, and it's
Which
for
game?
that like army. That I'm not really sure. I had to Google it to find out to make sure that I knew all the colors.
Oh, okay.
So let me see.
Yeah, I'd still say green though, I think. Because I think that like we said with the in our discussion, would you be a Jedi or a Sith? I said I'd be like a Sith middle manager, like the secretary to the Inquisitors. Um like I feel like that is kind of where that is with the green lightning, where it's like you use it. Like first of all, I don't think I would have it in me to use lightning on someone, but like I feel like the whole in tune with nature thing, even though I wouldn't really consider the Night Sister is more in tune with nature. I'd say they're more
I think
mystic.
that's more my interpretation of
Yeah,
it
I
than
think
it is
I would
any.
interpret them more as mystic or like kind of like pseudo sorcery in a weird
Okay.
way. But either way, I still enjoy that a little bit more than like just the pure infliction of pain that the others have.
So Plo Koon uses yellow force lightning.
Okay. Yeah, I'll
Which
still
is
say green.
a um Jedi's version of it.
Oh,
So
okay.
it comes from the light instead of the dark.
Was that a trick
Um,
question that you're going to use the yellow lightning?
no, I'm
Let's
giving
see.
you all the
Okay.
information so that way you can make your choice. Does that change your decision?
No.
I think that I'm too boring. Um, I think that I would either be, I'd either have blue. So it depends. So if I am still a Jedi and I'm trying to use it, I think that it would be blue because I don't think I'd be able to get enough good energy to be able to
Yellow.
manifest like yellow. I think I'd have to summon the dark side in order to do it. So it would
Right.
have to be blue. And then, but if I'm like a full-blown Sith, like raised from birth and like in the like
Well, at that point, you got to go
Darth
full
Revan
black.
times, I would probably have red lightning
Right,
because I'd
red or
be like
black because
just
it's like
because I'd
edgy
probably be like a
edge.
wild person that was
Yeah.
like, fuck everybody. I'll kill you all. Get
The
out of my
Bellatrix
way,
Lestrange of
peasant.
Sith Lords,
Hmm.
which we may have an
Yes.
episode title now.
Hmm. What was the what?
I said that may be
I
our
just
episode title.
Oh, okay. What is?
The Bellatrix Lestrange of Sith Lords.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Um,
I got the hair for it.
yeah, it's not as greasy.
That's good.
She definitely had
Thanks.
she definitely had a greasy hair thing. Granted, she also did like 15 years in prison, so
Yeah, I think that was more of the so
um
so that was my question.
I do have one final thing I wanted to go out on. So that way if anyone wants to avoid a spoiler, they can tune out now. Um because this is a spoiler for something that's
Okay,
coming out in like
bye.
2 weeks. So anyone who doesn't want to be spoiled for a Marvel comic coming out in 2 weeks, please leave now, or forever hold your peace and don't bitch at me in the comments on Spotify. Um, so for those of you who are leaving, next week we're doing Jedi Survivor. The week after that we're doing Attack of the Clones. The week after that we're doing Mandalorian season 3, and then the week after that we're doing Thrawn Treason. I feel like I fucked up the order there. I think we have to swap. Whatever. We'll switch it. Thrawn Treason and then Mandalorian. I fucked up the order here. Um, but yeah, so there was a leak of a Marvel comic coming out um in 2 weeks. It's Amazing Spider-Man number 26. Um, which has been teasing they're gonna kill off a character. Someone's getting killed off. Who are they killing off? Um, they're killing. Do you want to know who they're killing off, or are we gonna? Or do you not want to know?
I was tuning out.
Oh, you don't care?
No, I didn't want to be spoiled.
You read the comics?
No, but what if I decide to?
I don't think you're gonna suddenly pick up Amazing Spider-Man number
You don't
26.
know what my plans are.
Okay, so let's avoid the spoiler then on the internet. Um, but I do want to talk about it then after it comes out officially. How about that? We will table the discussion until it comes out officially because I think it's pretty transparent what they're doing, and I want to address that.
Hmm.
Okay, so we will table that for a few weeks and we'll come back to it. Our next episode, like I said, will be Jedi Survivor, which will be another one of these video game episodes where Josie asked me my opinion on the game that I've played. She has not played. I think that format works pretty well for us.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah. So, what were you coloring in today?
Oh, today I already closed it. I got it done pretty early because I kind of did a different like an I don't give a fuck style.
Oh,
Um,
there's like a 5-year-old who has a coloring book.
yeah, it was fun. Uh,
She's digging through her book now to find her curse word of the day. Fuck off. That's your wait. That is your I don't give a fuck style.
yeah.
How is that your island? That is better than anything I've done in the last 10 years.
It's all over the place. It doesn't look as good in person. It looks
Oh, and
better on the screen.
we're gonna have a new logo going up. I sent Josie the new logo
Yeah,
today.
I really liked it. I thought it was very cute. So
And I
stay
think it
tuned.
plays
It
on
gets
what
cute.
I think it plays on what we've talked about on the show with the Sith. Like, I think that the Sith Lord version is kind of the epitome of the Sith middle manager that we've talked about, and the other one looks kind of like a mix of every Star Wars female protagonist over the last 40 years. So I think it kind of works pretty well. I guess I'd add text to it, and that'll be up on the feed probably by the end of the week with the new logo. And we have a new website. Almost forgot to plug the new website. We have launched mwpnews.com, which is where I will be posting news stories as they happen. So, like today, there were a ton because a lot of stuff happened. So, like today, we had, let me look at the list of posts from today. First trailer for Extraction 2 on Netflix, new trailer for the Haunted Mansion movie, the premiere dates for Loki season 2 and Echo, the tickets going on sale for A24's Past Lives, tickets on sale for Elemental, new Pixar movie, and new trailer for Earth Mama from A24. It's a brand new website. If you want to go on, you can subscribe via WordPress. It's mwpnews.com. I think Josie likes the site too. I'm gonna send her some examples I have of possible logos. We haven't decided on one fully yet. I'm gonna send her a few logo ideas I have, and she can say which one she thinks is best.
I liked the thing that you sent me today.
Which one was that? The Star Wars one?
Yeah.
Oh no, not that. The logo for the website.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I have a few options for that. So I'm gonna send those to you. And then off mic, you can tell me what you think.
Okay.
Because I need to eat. I'm hungry, and my throat hurts from talking so much.
Oh,
So we'll be back next week with Jedi Survivor. So until then, have a great rest of your week.
thanks, you too.
If you enjoyed this show, be sure to check out our other shows. We have Beware of Spoilers, where we talk about new release movies. We have 30-minute reviews, where we talk about older stuff and current events in the entertainment industry. And we have Exploring Hyperspace Lanes, where every week Josie and I get together to talk about random stuff in our lives, and also we rank and review everything Star Wars, old stuff, new stuff, all of it. And you can find all of these shows on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, on Google Podcasts, or wherever you find your podcasts. Or, to get it simply, just go to bewareofspoilers.com, or exploringhyperspacelanes.com, or 30minutereviews.com, and it'll redirect you right to the Spotify page. Thank you, and thank you for enjoying our content.